It off. Hello, everyone. It's Michael JACO with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. And today I'm super excited to be joined by Gene. And he's basically revealed a lot of stuff, and he's going to reveal some more stuff. Gene, thanks for joining me, and let's jump in. It off.
Absolutely, Michael. Thank you for inviting me on your platform. God bless. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Very honored.
Yeah, so we were seeing, this deep state manipulation that's going on. I know you're on a lot of different shows. You're talking about this. You're talking about the DUMBs. You were on a program with me the other night where we're talking about the secret space program, and you brought up a lot of stuff about the Washington D.C. DUMBs ongoing operation. So you kind of mentioned where it looks like they're bringing up the children, like they've been doing in a lot of places. But there was a little clip where we kind of saw some of the children being brought up, and the impeachment hoax that's going on again, and all the kind of different stuff. I feel that we're close to this reveal really kicking off. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel that why they are delaying is because of the DUMBs under DC. That what was there made what was in Australia look like a picnic. That They had no idea the level and the depravity and the disgusting, terrible evil and filth that was there, and how filthy what they were doing there was, and how bad and how far it had gone. And so because of what they found, once they were able to get in and clean that out, once nobody's home, and they can go into the house and you can do a deep cleaning. And they did that 10 days of darkness, and they got the kids out of there and the people that were there. And the arrests that were the police cars showing up weren't for the government personnel. It was for the people administrating the DUMBs down there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the congressmen, senators, the bye Dan type stuff. That was already a helo op with ospreys and the big stuff coming in for the big people. Those were taken to Camp Century and are now, from what I'm being told, actually on the moon, that new facility on the moon with the transparent aluminum, so they get a good view. Because like Quebec had said, 16+1, that it's not safe for them to walk down the street once this comes out. We would have mobs going after them when they show what's actually gone on, like in those DUMBs down there, as well as all over the world in Australia. And the Hague, however you pronounce that, was bad, but it's nothing compared to what I'm being told with DC. They got who they could rescue it out of there, who's alive. And so they have the Marines that go down there and special forces have to get counseling after this. It was so bad. The amount of body bags of just body parts and things with roaches and rats, and just the only thing is they can do is just burn it up. After they cleaned that all out, now with what they could is just burn it, do the dustification stuff, go in there, blow it up. There was explosions last night where they're blowing stuff up. And I really think they should.
Even Candace Owens posted she heard a big explosion in DC last night, and it shook her house.
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
Yeah, they're blowing it up, and I really think that what DC needs to be a foreign country. We can just take that over when it's done and cleaned up. Take everything down and flood it from the Potomac and turn it back into a bird refuge for water birds, like it was before Europeans came over here, because it's so disgusting and so decrepit, and with all these parties that the previous presidents before Trump, with $16,000 for pizza and hot dog parties. We all know what that means.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't see $16,000 of anything being shipped in there. They were down under there. They're just paying the cabal for the privilege to use what they had stored down there, under Congress, under Senate, under the Supreme Court, everything under there. It's just beyond. I mean, there's no real words to say. So that's why I see it being delayed now and removing the assets. And then the other assets have already been removed. Watching a video, they had a movie and they had the set. Actually, it's becoming ridiculous. And I had people say, no, he's actually not, it's not him being left-handed, that they reverse the image. And I go, yeah, but the parking lot and the stuff is, if they reverse the image, then that would be reversed too. But that's not reversed. So no, that's not the case. Oh, the lighting on the executive orders are blank. It's just low lighting. And so they're showing, yeah, they found out, we realized it was blanks. And then they do that and show you, oh, no, it's low lighting. No, the first ones were actually blank. And he is actually the person who's playing that with the mask on. You can see the collar pushing up the mask, and sometimes at the lip area. That's actually an actor. And so we're actually in the set, you know, they showed the set and they had the right wall on Biden's left. When you're looking at Biden on the right wall, there was a gap in the back where the wall wasn't even put in place. I mean, it's really obviously Castle Rock Productions. Of course, Quebec had that, 16+1 had that, you know, Castle Rock and all that projected the drop on that information years ago. So we are watching that. But in other places in the world, people aren't paying attention to what's going on elsewhere. They go, where's the proof? We don't see anything. When are they doing anything? The military is doing stuff all over the world. People aren't paying attention. It is out now, blatant and obvious in Myanmar right now. Military proved again what is proved in this country, like watch Michael Lindell and all the stuff he proved twice now. And that was proven, and it went to the court systems there, like it was here. They ignored it. So their military took action, and not like subtle like here. They did it blatant. It's obvious in Myanmar. They're in martial law. They've seized control of the country because, again, Dominion, Skytel, all of the same software companies, all the names, everybody knows the names now from Michael Lindell and all of that they took 8 million votes in Myanmar out of only 60 million people and swung it to somebody else. So the military, as per they're doing here, just not as obvious. They took over the country, and that is the 80% of all the drugs in the world come from the opium, the heroin. 80% comes from Myanmar. It's the Golden Triangle. They ship it through the coast, the borders into China. They're taking out those dumps in China right now that are going in and taking that out. It's in progress right now. And so
my background a little bit in the three-letter agency starts with a C. I saw a lot of these operations in the background, and I myself and other people that I work with, we're hunting terrorists, and yet in the background we're having drug running, human trafficking, arms trafficking. So we know that the deep state was like utilizing these, and I thought, yeah, it's like a secret program. That's why there's so much money in this three-letter agency, because it's incredible how much money is there. And so we were like, oh yeah, they're doing these operations to make money, even though it's like horrific what they're doing. I guess they've been doing it for so long, it is what it is. But now we're starting to see it's starting to reveal itself. But you're saying, and I agree, I say this all the time, that people where they want to know this stuff and want it to be revealed. We're revealing it. You and I right now are revealing it. There's a reveal that the coronavirus, it only kills like less than 1% of the people. Masks don't work, on and on and on. Vaccines don't work, on and on and on. But yet people are like, where's the evidence? It's like the evidence is there. We keep telling you. So it's very frustrating. But yeah, let's keep revealing.
People say, well, I get emails like that. You and me and other people like Eugene are saying all this stuff, and where's the proof? You can't prove something to somebody who won't do their due diligence and do their own research. Yep. They are actually historical situations, like when Captain Cook went to the Hawaiian Islands, and they would take the islanders out on the big boats, and they would go into catatonic shock because their minds didn't accept it. You can't prove something to a mind that will not accept the proof. Even if you put it literally right there, they're going to go, I refuse to see this. And so, as 16+1, it said 3 to 8%, you can never prove it to them. They're so far gone, it's never been. For the rest of the world, it's going to be coming down here. It will be proved. We will see it become blatant and outright. And that's why right now they have to get the people secured into locations where the populace can't do mob riots, and because they're going to be really, really upset when they realize what you and I already know.
Right. And you talked about that on other shows that I've been privileged to be on with you. And I have seen, as a remote viewer and someone that can see into the future, that a lot of these people are drug into the streets. So I think you brought up a good point that that is not going to happen on the level that we think it is, because they're going to expose that these people are arrested already. So we don't need to do that, hopefully. And we don't need to go after people that are not really here. They're gone now. So that's a really good point.
Yeah, and that's why they did it. The Alliance is doing it this way, is to keep the people from taking the law into their own hands. And it has to be done by the law, by God's law, by the laws of the land, by the court systems are defunct, and we have to go through military tribunals. That's the way they're doing it. That's the way it's being done, because we can't become the cabal and let the ends justify the means. We can't allow the people to do the same thing. The people got to be kept safe from each other. You get a mob violence and it goes crazy and people get hurt. So we've got to do this beforehand, so that when we show them, you're watching a movie, so that when it's brought out, that's already done. We just hired actors to play the parts and for their plan that they were going to do had we not stepped in and did this already. It's already a done deal, but here's what we had actors do. Here's what they were going to do. And we had them play the parts up until the point when it got to the point it was too dangerous to let you know what they would have really done. They would have culled the human population through these vaccines that we can now stop, and we can now heal that with the MedVed technology, which we already have, which we're showing here. Here's the patents, here's the information, and there's already being downloaded and being displayed in the US Patent Office. You can already go in and get the patents for those things. They're already available. And then they can say, you don't need to take the law and go find these people, because they're either already hung, they've already been tribunals, they're already gone, or they're already pleaded out for give us more information to take down more people in the cabal, the lower level players, and the intermediate level players. And then the high profile people that pleaded out are already on the moon. They're already in a prison facility on the moon, and they have life imprisonment. And to get better living standards and things like that, they continuing to give information. And so it's already a done deal. And so now let's focus on moving forward.
Yes.
At that point and going, here, let's restore the economies of the world through all of this gold and silver they've stolen from us. Here's what we have. And when people see, they show, here's what we have, they're going to be out of, let's go hang people, and go, oh my goodness, we have all of this technology and all of this wealth that can be redistributed with literally ledgers showing precisely what gold was taken from what, through fake taxes, through laundering, through human trafficking, through gun running, through et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, all of the stuff in the Vatican, all of the stuff in the Alps, throughout France, Switzerland, Austria, Germany, Sweden, all that's been cleared now. That's all they're getting at all. They had everything already, except for all the meticulous details of precisely what family, JACO's family, his grandfather, his grandmother, his, how much, who exactly. The cabal kept everything ledgers because they gloat like mad about us. And so now all of that information's there, plus all of the gold and material wealth and all of the ancient, a lot of the art that went missing in World War II and all of that. That's also there in the Vatican. And that's also there in the Alps. They've got all of this stuff, and it's going to be, people are going to be going, wow, all of this ancient art and all these ancient sacred documents and all this gold, and they'll be able to focus elsewhere, and all this healing and get all this stuff. And we won't need the vaccines and anything anymore. We can get healed from all that stuff. Yeah, you do have to make it hurt, because up to a point where people will go, never, ever again. Right. And it was either this or an out and out war that would cost hundreds of millions of lives. I would prefer this, where I have to get upset and people have to get upset and take time and go get frustrated and go, when are we going to see anything? Would you rather have an out and out war like World War II, but everywhere on the planet, taking out people in everywhere? I mean, in every post office, in every sheriff's office, in every police station, in every court system, in every CPS place, in every church, there's filth there's dirt that needed to be taken out. You're talking a war on a magnitude that would have killed a good half, if not 3/4 of the world population. This way,
because a lot of the people that have, have believed in that system would fight for it, because it's human nature not to admit that you've been wrong about something. You don't want to be fooled, and you will fight to maintain that lie that you've been that you have led for a long time. So there's a lot of people out there like that. So we want to give them that, like you're talking about, to give them that option that, hey, you can wake up, you don't have to fight about this. Here it is, it's okay. So that's I think we're going to see a lot of that. A lot of addictions that people have right now, the med beds. So you're talking about the med beds. The med beds, a lot of technology is already leaking out. It's been leaking out very slowly, very quietly. I know of people that actually have some of these systems and are utilizing some of these systems and helping people already. So that's fantastic. So come out in a very broad level very soon, I believe.
Yeah, and there's already some, like, for example, I'm blessed to teach on Patriotic Strong Company through that. They have the quantum card that helps do some healing at a very beginning level. And the med beds are already coming out. There are companies that are getting ready for mass production. For when this all comes out, then you can focus people's minds elsewhere instead of anger and revenge. We can focus on recover the world's economies, rebuild, get our companies and our restaurants and all of these things back through this fake, 1% virus that, it's a big killer. All right. It killed the top 5 leading death rates, all that piled into COVID. It killed the death rates for heart attacks, for cancer. It drops you add up the top 5 killers, the percentage and the numbers per country. It's exactly what you're seeing for COVID, plus maybe about 1%, which is the very older infirm. And so it doesn't have even what the flu has, a normal flu, the yearly flus we have going around. It doesn't even do that level, let alone if people do the due diligence, the masses. I have people telling me to pull it up over my nose in the store, and I walk, past them and just open my jaw a couple times, it's back down, because it doesn't do anything. You have to have an N95 and eye covering because it goes through the liquid in the eye too. So, if they're going to argue, I could go, yeah, I'll put it up, but it's useless. It doesn't do anything. I mean, if it makes you feel better, sure, I'll put it up. But it really, how do you know? I go, I've gone through all the medical courses. I didn't get the PhD because it's meaningless. I didn't get to become a licensed Western doctor or Eastern doctor because it's ridiculous. It doesn't mean all they do is push big pharma, and I'm not going to do that. So I know and done all the courses, my due diligence. Do yours. Do your research and find out that viruses aren't stopped by a piece of cloth.
And they have like the Fauci's and so forth that are basically benefiting from pushing this agenda because they're invested. They actually are paid. They have a financial commitment to all of this, going forward. And so that's where a lot of people are listening. They're focusing on the deep state media that's basically telling all these lies instead of doing, like, we're talking about, doing the critical thinking, doing the critical research that it takes to find this out. And it's there. It's very obvious. And like you were saying, we do have PhD people by the thousands all over the world that are coming out and saying that this is a non-event. Now, we're actually seeing now that in England, they're talking about a new virus strain that's coming out. And I guess in California, they're saying they have a new virus strain that came up from South America. So what do you think about this? Is this more misdirection, or are they going to
more misdirection, more hocus pocus? A lot of the country, including where I am, it's incredibly cold. There's areas it's below zero. We're supposed to be hitting below zero very soon. You can't have a virus running when it's below zero, or even the chill factor is below freezing. It's all hocus pocus. And even now, some of the, to show you people that big things are going on, that things are changing. Merck has already stated, one of the top 3 pharmaceutical companies, big vaccine makers, has said they're not going to be doing vaccines anymore. They're going to turn to natural health benefits like homeopathics and herbs, because it gives a greater immune response than does vaccines. They've actually is starting to have their leadership cleaned up, and are actually have stated that in their company, whole company motto and everything, that they're changing their path. And so big things are going on, but people just aren't paying attention. So Merck, Pfizer, and Purebite, and those are the three big manufacturers, and Eli and a couple others that do some stuff, that are some of the big, huge manufacturers. One of the biggest, Merck, is changing over now.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that, and we're seeing some of the deep state mainstream media is being taken down as well. See Jeff Bezos stepping down. See CNN head stepping down. So I think there's a lot of that that's already been going on, like we're talking about. I said at one point, like a couple months ago, the next thing that's going to start happening is the MSM is going to start to be taken down. It looks like that's starting to be leaked now. What do you think about that?
Yeah, not just that. Like Rick, I'm blessed to teach. So a couple of his channels came back mysteriously, that got deleted, just came back. And I'm seeing that other things when I do searches, channels I don't follow are coming up and being suggested for me, like they used to be years ago, of the Quebec artichoke types that report on Quebec artichoke stuff. They're coming back all by themselves. Also in other countries all over the world, a lot of the heads of state and governments and people in the governments are stepping down as well. It's happened in Italy. People have been arrested and others have stepped down. It's happened all over the Iran, Iraq. There's a lot of places that's going on. People aren't, I know we don't get much news in the US or in most of the civilized world. You know, in third world, they're knowing that this, I'm fortunate to have emails come from all over the world. So they're saying, stepping down. US military on the street in, these areas where the dubs are that I've been reporting on. US military, tanks, military forces, helicopters moving. So yes, governments are stepping down. Yes, assets of the cabal are being taken down. We just don't get the news here. I'm fortunate. I get, few thousand emails a day that are scanned by 6 different people going through them for me, because I can't read thousands of emails a day, but I get them from all over the world. So
to have someone doing that as well. That's great. So we're also seeing, you and I being, former military, both in the Navy, and we had a kind of connection with, with Special Forces. You're in the submarine force, and I work with you guys, and I thought it was one of the best groups I've ever worked with. You did a full career, so did I. I went on to the CIA afterwards and worked with them for quite some time. Now you're obviously very intuitive. You're starting to tap into a lot of stuff, and your research is absolutely phenomenal. We have good contacts that are sending you information, like I am. They want us to continue to reveal this information. So we've heard this, trust the plan. For military guys, that's easy because we're very very focused. We know once we get a plan, we stay focused on it until it's done, until it reaches its fruition. A lot of times, like we talked about before, God's on our side. I've had aircraft that have had problems. You've talked about submarines that were not supposed to come back that came back, and so I believe that's in force for us right now. I believe that God is really on our side. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I totally agree. If you can't trust the plan, trust God, because we're on God's timeline. And if you look around, you'll see that there's a golden proportion that is the basis of everything in creation. Everything is based on that proportion, which means there's only one God that creates all things. And so when we stand up in service to the God of all creation, he stands up for us. And so now that that's happening, the cabal's coming down. It's right. God's plan, and we're seeing it. So if you can't trust the plan, trust God. And keep your eyes open and stay solid in your prayer and your faith, and know that God has your back all the time. In the armor of God, put that on every morning and stay firm in the plan.
That's incredibly beautiful. And I think that right there, if people abide by what you just said, will give them a lot of comfort. Because there's a lot of people, like we're talking about, that, they're not military like we are. They trust in the plan. What plan? Like they can't understand that. But having that trust in God, like you said. I believe that consciousness rising event when you trust in God, because you're basically connecting with higher source, divine energy, with the love vibration, a lot of stuff that I teach, that keeps you in a state of consciousness. That is the key, really the key, to have us go into this next level of consciousness, which I believe is coming.
Yeah. And the other thing for those that don't even understand that or can't go there, I mean, I was gifted in the sense that, I talked to before, I put a sword in my knee and it made me die for half an hour. And I got to know God up front and personal. So I don't believe in God, I know. I had a very, very long 30 minutes with God is an eternity. It's a very long conversation that's going at lightning speed for what we know on earth. So I got a massive download of information. It took me over 30 years to compile it all and to figure out everything God told me. But for those that can't even go there, realize if you study the bombardment of particles when they're trying to decide whether photons were particles or waves, because photon cells say it's a particle, but normally you see wave patterns. So they had what's called the two-slit experiment, where they had a photon barrier and a receiving wall on the other side and two slits. So if you see it's a wave, then you would see like you see on a shoreline of the ocean, where you have a wave pattern, a ripple pattern of light, dark, light, dark. But if it's a particle, then you would see right behind the two slits on the photon barrier behind it, you would see an increase of particle bombardment and then an overlap in the middle between the slits where it's large. And what they found out was miraculous, and they call it now collapsing the wave function, where when you look at it, it becomes a particle. But if no one looks at it, it's a wave. And so that is all of the different timelines or creations, all the multiverse. Then we have our focus on what we expect. So what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, that's what's doing that. What you imagine, you create. That's what the Kabbalah's been doing, focusing our ability to image, imagination, the ability to image on terror and fear and doubt, and we don't think, and so they are controlling us through a series of foxtrot situations. And then they put movies out and show you what they're going to do ahead of time, movies like Z Nation, all this stuff to show you exactly what they have planned. Then they do a foxtrot. We vote with fear, terror, and doubt in our faith and our awareness, and then that allows them to create that. It's like Einstein said, that everything is energy. And that's all there is to it. You match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot but help but get that reality. It can be no other way. That's not philosophy. That's physics. That is how it works. That collapsing wave function, those particles become creation. It's through our focus of our minds. If you're going to be in doubt and fear and all this stuff, then you're going to get their creation. If you're going to be solid and know and vision the best and be kind and considerate and respectful and be there for others when they need help and stand up for those that can't stand, you're going to get a creation like that, where you cannot help but get what you put out. Become the change you want to see, and you will see the change.
That's fantastic. And that's beautiful, because you had that connection with source, and you've broken it down into a scientific basis where people can understand it. And that's what I try and do in my work. Now, I didn't get the source, but I got one of the messengers. I got Archangel Michael, and we talked about that. Basically, I saw myself dead in a combat zone in Iraq, and I was like, oh, wow, feel like I'm helping humanity. And then I saw Archangel Michael, got this download of amazing love and energy, and put back in time, back in my body, and the missile that was going to take me out was redirected. So like yourself, it's taken me many decades to unpack, what I got from that. But some of the things that I've already started using pretty quickly, actually, afterwards, was to send out that love vibration, that thought energy of love that basically, protected me and protected the teams I was in, protected whole cities. And then eventually I used that to actually take out demonic figures, for instance, Bin Laden and Zarqawi and some other terrorists that we were hunting, and basically we were taking them out. So I was sending that love energy to them. So I was creating the kind of reality that you were just talking about, is what we can all create. So taking down the deep state and creating this new world that we're going to live in. And you did a fabulous job of just explaining that. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
So what else would you like to focus on as far as, like, what you see coming with the deep state, takedown, or some of these political figures like are pretty much not there anymore, like you're talking about, but people are they think they're seeing them, but they're seeing, stage sets and stuff like that. Anything else that you can reveal on that?
Currently on the timeline as I view it, everything's set for March. If we can stay focused on that, if you're going to get into fear and doubt, then we're going to go into late spring. But with the alliance and where things are moving and the big stuff going on with mini dumps all over the world, Loyalty Islands has been massive. Myanmar's massive. There's dumps coming down in China, a lot in Turkey, a lot in Iran. If we can stay focused and know that, and look at, if you watch how people are and who they are, people don't change over a long period of time. It's rare that people, and if you look at Trump over his entire life, he's not somebody who throws in the towel and goes, I quit because you proved, I can't prove it, or I tried to prove it and you wouldn't let me prove it. He's not the type of quit. He's like a martial artist and like yourself, a SEAL, where we don't give up. I don't care if you got me down, both knees dislocated. I'm in the ground and I'm taking you down unless you take me off the planet Earth. And if I can get back in, I'll come back in again and come back fighting some more.
That's total my mentality. And I love that you have the same one. That's beautiful. And everyone should have that. That's good. Very good.
And so Trump is like that. He's not the type that just goes down to Mar-a-Lago and gives up. He's still got the football. The one that Biden has is a fake. He didn't get his briefing finished. He got locked out of the White House. All the military turned their back. And you and I know, even if you're facing him, the guys that are facing him should be saluting and at attention. That means that they don't recognize him. He's not recognized by the military, by the Pentagon, and that the fences around DC, around the Capitol, are facing in. There's no handles on the inside to get out. The handles are on the outside to let them out. I mean, you pay attention and look at the type of people of who you're dealing with. And if the cabal was truly in charge, they wouldn't have put General Flynn's brother in charge of the Pacific Basin. Come on, there's no way.
Good point. Yeah, definitely. And General Flynn, God bless his soul. He was on a talk show recently where he was asked towards the end of that talk show, which everybody focused on in a wrong way, if the military was in charge. Now he's in the military. I think you brought this up where he was basically right after he was pardoned, he was given his clearances back, and he started working with the military pretty much right after that.
Yeah. So
he can't reveal that the military is involved. He'd be taken off the the military right away, but he can, just like every intel operation that happens in a wartime, he can misdirect, but in a way that he can leave a little clue for people. So at the end of that, after saying that, the military is not involved in anything, I think everybody had their sails, deflated and their balloons popped and all that kind of stuff. But the host asked him, I guess I have to buy a bottle of wine or give a bottle of wine to my friend, because I said I would give you a bottle of wine if Joe Biden wins. And General Flynn's like, don't give it up yet. So that was a little sign for everybody. So there's these little tidbits that are being left if you're not paying attention. If you just focus on one thing, like I had 107 on one time, it says Joe Biden is going to be inaugurated, and everybody lost their minds. But he's basically helping seed a piece of disinformation, or whether it's the real thing or not. It's as you know, and I know, we're focused on overcoming this.
Right.
Come hell or high water, we're going to win.
Right.
And that's kind of the stuff that's going on right now.
Exactly. And you can't have a general in charge of vast military things that has an oath of non-disclosure. He has a non-disclosure agreement, or what in England they call official secrets, that he signed.
Yeah.
If he violates that, that's court-martial, JAG investigation, the whole, he can go to prison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. You don't just ask the host to put him on a spot like that. I don't know if that was planned or what. He can't answer that. Yes, he has to answer that. No, it's absolute. And then, of course, you have the little listen through and pay to the end, little thing at the end, don't get the bottle of wine. I was like, yeah, I got that. Okay. So you got same with Trump. And, like people were saying early on, he's given hand signs. It's Masonic and Satanic hand signs. I go listen to what he's saying when he's doing them. He's saying these people, this Congress, this, he's showing the hand signs saying that those people are satanic. He's talking about these people. He's saying, oh, the CDC said, and then he's giving this, the sixth hand sign. And so if you're paying attention, watch the words and watch how they use words very carefully and listen to what they say and what their hands are doing. Learn the hand signs, learn the words, learn how master speak works.
Right.
Because the cabal has been doing it to us for a very long time. And so now the alliance is doing it to wake us up.
Right. And that 666 sign that, we're seeing, where you see the 666 here in my hand, he would make that sign, but like you're saying, he would say, these people, these dark, dark entities, these dark people, these elites, these blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And there's some other ones he does once in a while that he throws, if you know what you're looking. And even in the way he says things, there's ways he says certain things that if you know master speak, in the high levels of masonry, that if you study that, and you can go through and read Manly P. Hall's Secret Teachings of All Ages and other things,
love that work.
Learn what those are.
Yep.
They're not utterly obscured and hidden anymore. And so by learning those things, then you'll know what you're looking at, and you can go, oh, I'm watching a movie. They're waking me up. They're showing me stuff. It's going on. So even if it is this way, they're coming back. It's going to come down. Even if it isn't a movie and it is really what's going on, it means he's the president of a defunct corporation, and President Trump retired. That you retire from a company as CEO, you step down from the presidency. Watch the wording. So he didn't step down. He retired as the CEO of a bankrupt corporation that was part of the 1871 act put in by Ulysses S. Grant that incorporated the U.S. through the Organic Act. And that he was the last president of the United States for America. Now we have the United States in caps of America. And so if you're of something, you're like an employee of a corporation. You're not an employee for a corporation, because then you're an individual contractor. That's how we're supposed to be as individuals. We're not supposed to be of something. And so that's what Trump is now part of. He is for these United States, for America. He's the president for. And they'll put back in the original Constitution, as that was removed in the War of 1812. They thought they burned the only original. There were two originals. So the original Constitution with the true oath that no president has taken since then, since 1812. They haven't taken the true oath like military people do, to defend the Constitution in the United States for America from all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's been gone. Nobody has ever sworn that, because they replaced the Constitution with the corporate document with the United States and of the United States in caps, which means that's an acronym. It's a corporation. And then the of is the other change. And then you change the flag and you put the ruff, all that other stuff. That's all corporate stuff. And so if he's president of that, I don't care. We're getting rid of that. That's going away. We haven't had our country, the Republic, since essentially actually 1812, when they put in a fake corporation and had the presidents not swearing to defend the country and the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. They haven't taken the true oath. So what are they upholding? I mean, some of them were doing good and some of them were part of the corporation. We've had, and again, they're all esquires under the Crown Corporation. And so that they changed the 14th Amendment to a fake amendment. The Nobility Act was removed. And so that then put the presidents as esquires under the Crown Corporation. And so that's all part of the corporation, the company, as they call it in C_A, like you were with, they call it the company. You're working for the company. You're the enforcement arm for the company. And that's what is being removed around the world.
Yeah. And just like those different, like the City of London, the financial arm, the Vatican City, the religious and maritime law arm, and here in the U.S., the military arm in Washington, D.C., the city of D.C. So there's all these different little city states are basically being taken down, in my opinion. And I totally agree with you. When I was in D.C. on January 6th for that rally, completely peaceful rally. Obviously, they're ramping it up to be something it's not. That's what the deep state does all the time. And the military and the mainstream military or mainstream press basically does their dirty work for them. But I've seen some of this stuff going down for a while, and I saw that Trump started to remove negative people, even in the SEAL teams. Our top admiral at the time, a couple years ago, was removed, and I predicted that he would be removed, and I predicted that the Secretary of Defense at that time would be removed, and they were, and that just kind of blew away a lot of my friends, but it happened just like I predicted. And I even thought that the last Secretary of Defense that was in office would be removed as well. So now we have Special Forces guy Chris Miller that's in office. And he is going to kick some serious booty, which already he's doing.
Yeah, and the reason you're not seeing some people removed is it's part of the optics. They are actually removed, and they're actors now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, Hillary didn't during the inauguration shrink a foot from the inauguration to the supposed banquet, which looks like a cafeteria, cinder block wall with a little fold up table and tablecloth over the top. It was like a banquet and they look like they're at a funeral. I mean, come on, pay attention and pay it, realize and look carefully at how people looked 10 years ago to how they look today. And figure out who you're really looking at, because there's certain individual difference. You can put a mask over somebody and look at the collar, because the mask will be pushed up by the collar. So like with my dad, and at the lip sometimes, and then the facial structure underlying is still the same. So the nose bridge is wrong. The angle of the cheeks and the bones, the zygomatic arch, the cheekbone is wrong. So there's a lot of differences. The ears are wrong. And the color of the eyes is wrong. And you can put in context, but there's all kinds of other ways you can tell what's going on. So pay attention to what's going on. And for me, it's a done deal, and I'm just waiting for the reveal. It's like when you're playing cards and you get down to the end game, like in chess, the amount of moves get less and less and less. So right now it's difficult to remote view and see the timelines because there's so many moves still. We're in the end game, but you're still where you're the losing team still has a number of main pieces on the board. When they get down to where, if they want to make it, and this is the cabal's way, make it as hard as possible, they're not going to just give up and tip over the king and say, okay, I lose, I'm in Zugzwang, I can't, there's no move I can make. They know it already. They're not going to tip over their king. They're going to lose every piece on the board till they're down to the king and maybe 2 pawns and that's it. And that's it, so again, the corporation has to go completely down to where, but already the big CEO of the Crown Corporation is gone. The names that nobody would know if I mentioned them, people know the Peycheurs and the Rothschilds and those are gone too. Those are lower underlings, the big ones up in the Merovingian line. They're already gone and arrested. They're already gone. They've already gone to tribunals and they have been executed because they have nothing to tell us. They really don't know anything. They're just running the corporation and they're reaping the profit. And they're living high and mighty on technologies that's 1,000,000 years ahead of us. That's what they are hiding. And so, again, people aren't paying attention. Learn to pay attention. Look at the computer technology where it exploded in 100 years or even 50 years. And you look at aircraft, it did nothing. You look at cars. We had cars in 1890. And they're not a whole lot different than they are then. And
know.
you can't tell me we didn't get any advances from all that time. We didn't get any advances in jet engines and aircraft from 1950 till 2021, 70 years. Nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Really? No way.
You might remember the Jetsons, back, 50 plus years ago, where I used to watch that. I'm like, that's the way it's going to be soon. And we're still not even close to that. I mean, we got maybe some robots that roll around and clean the floors, but that's about it. So yeah, that technology has definitely been restricted. Now, we talked about the secret space program a little bit the other night. What do you see as far as the reveal for that coming up?
Yeah, I'm looking already that, the Space Force that Trump put in as part of the soft disclosure and the reveal.
Mm-hmm.
And as that's already been taking out craft, I've seen, if you go watch the USGS earthquake site and look at the Raspberry Shake and compare the wave structure where you see you only see the secondary wave, you don't see the primary wave, that's how you know it's not natural. But if you see an earthquake that's 1.3 negative, that's airborne.
Exactly.
That's a stealth ship trying to get up there. The rats are fleeing the ship. There's
Yeah.
one this last week over Oregon, over Nevada, over Montana, over Colorado, over Wyoming. Oh, I mean, all over the place where there's no quarries, there's no geysers, there's no volcanoes. What is shaking the air 1.4 kilometers up? That's a ship being taken out by the satellites that the secret space programs, which the Alliance has total control of now.
Right.
They have it all.
Ships, yeah.
Cloak ships are being taken out of the cabal, trying to leave from the underground facilities. They're being taken out. They go, we got to get out of here. And they're trying to run the blockade. And there is no way to run the blockade. They're being taken out airborne.
Desperation. Yeah. That's fascinating. That's amazing. Yeah, I remember you talking about that and pointing that out. So I have memories of that secret space program. We know that James Rink has phenomenal information on that on the Super Soldier program that he has on his site. They're saying that there's millions of people here on Earth, and soon they're going to release lists of people that have been involved in the secret space program. They pretty much wipe our consciousness so that we'll have those memories. As I got older, these memories are starting to come to me. How do you see that working out as far as people having these memories come back or being revealed that they've been part of that program?
Well, as the program gets revealed and as the energy of the Earth keeps raising from 3D to 4D to 5D, the memories will start coming back because it's increasing the genetic stranding. Humans were originally 64 stranded, not 2. There were balls of 12. They still have the last ball of 12. It's what they call junk DNA. God doesn't do junk. And if you believe in evolution, neither does evolution do junk. Okay, right. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a place. Everything fits in. And so there's no junk out there. So as the energy of the Earth increases, those genetic strands that are still there, the other 10, that's what started happening in the 50s of the indigo children. And then they came crystal where they came quick. And so that actually is triple helix already started. So the H1N1 and all these swine flu, bird flu, all this was to be able to cut down the integration and the uptake of all of those genetic strandings coming in more and more powerfully. And so now that continues, the memories will be coming back. Additionally, I do teach sun gazing techniques. If you know how to do those, you can then decalcify the pineal. And as that decalcifies, you fill with that light of the Holy Spirit coming into you. And that you can actually aim at the blocks that have been put in your mind and get the memories back.
Yeah, there's like a lot of people don't realize there's a crystalline structure on the pineal gland. It's in the middle of the brain. And if it's calcified like you're talking about, then it's basically our connection to source and receiving information and sending information is blocked. So fluoride, aluminum that's in the underarm deodorants and all, in our foods and so forth is basically blocking that. But there are foods that cleanse that, and just look those foods up, cleansing the pineal gland, and you'll find a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. For example, and people tell me, oh no, it's, but it's in the Bible. If you look at Matthew 6:23, if thine eye be single and be open, what eye single. The pineal is an eye. It does have rods and cones, and those are connected to the visual cortex in the brain. And so, God wouldn't give you an eye to not have you use it. And so the cabal knows it, and they don't want you to, because if you see with that for real, then when people are lying to you and deceiving you and tricking you and all kinds, and you see the demonics, you see all this stuff. And so they put fluoride in everything. They put it in the water and the air, and they push it through the American Dental Association. And now dentists are starting to wake up and go, oh no, actually it causes fluoridasis of the bone. It kills the bone. It kills the marrow. It kills everything. And they're realizing, like, the big white spots you get on your teeth, those are actually the enamel and the teeth dying from the fluoridation, and it calcifies the pineal. And then you get sleep disorders, and you get sleep apnea and all this other stuff. And the pineal, with the melatonin and the other hormones it creates, then sets the hypothalamus for all your other hormones. So it imbalances all your hormones, and then all body starts falling apart and rotting from the inside, because we're getting all this garbage they're pumped into us, and all our processed foods and all this other stuff. And then on top of that, now you got all these problems. You go to the big pharma. The doctor recommends something from big pharma, which is fractionalized from petroleum. So you put that, it covers up the symptom of what you had. You get something else. You get another one for that one, another one for that. I mean, it's on and on and on. Instead of getting on a natural diet the way we used to be, something like keto diet, and then getting on where you start taking the body weight in distilled ounces of water a day. And, read the book Benefits of Drinking Distilled Water on that, where they've been lying to you about minerals, and you have to have chelated minerals, not just ground up chalk and ground up nails. You can't use iron and calcium that way. We're not a tree. Okay, we're mammalian. We're not trees, plants. We can't take it up like that. And even the plants don't. They have fungus that actually incorporates it on their roots. This little tiny cilia hairs on their roots. There's little funguses that uptake the minerals and convert them and chelate them and tie them to amino acids for the plants to use. And we get them from the plants the same way. So if you, for example, apricot nectar helps to fill the pineal up, because even in the calcification, it's like a little tiny prune in there. If you can fill that back up and and rehydrate it and get the energy and the healing and the health through apricot seeds and apricot nectar, or even just apricot nectar, and getting apricot juice on a daily basis, that'll cause it, like, imagine you seen when you boil an egg, sometimes it'll crack the shell. Yeah. And so you can actually crack the shell by filling up the pineal with fluids it needs. And that's the big one, is apricot nectar.
Absolutely. That's outstanding. You brought that up. I've seen that as well, and have apricots that I chew on every now and then. So I never heard about the nectar though. That's a good one. I have to check that one out and get some of that. Beautiful, beautiful share. So I totally agree with you as far as like as our consciousness, as energies come in and raise our consciousness, what do you see as far as like energies coming into Earth to raise our consciousness? Yeah,
the energy coming into the Earth, of course, comes from the sun primarily. Again, they lie to you and tell you aurora borealis is coming from the sun. It's actually coming from a sun inside the Earth. The Earth is hollow. And if you learn how planets form, that's why they call Pluto a planetoid, because it doesn't have a sun. It's too small. If you get 92 homogeneous elements, spin them in space, just like they did in the space station, they spun a ball of water and it got hollow in the middle. And then if it has debris in the water, it goes to that little hollow spot in the center. And so in 92 homogeneous elements, what goes to the center is radioactive. Thorium, plutonium, the heavy stuff goes to the center. So then you get a fissioning star, pushes the matter with a gravity wave out away from it and creates an electromagnetic dynamo, which then opens up the polar areas, because you got electromagnetism, which is 10 to the 95th power stronger than gravity. So then you have this liquid mass around it, then hardens through volcanism and the formation of water. And then you have a big crust around a liquid mantle. They used to teach that the mantle was liquid, not the core. And so now you have this situation where you have these planets with internal stars, and those energies for that come from the material. But on the case of our sun, it comes from the central sun of the Milky Way. which is in a black hole because it's a falling galaxy, but that energy still comes out through the poles. Again, you can see these jets of light and material coming out of black holes that go hundreds of thousands, sometimes light years out. And those go cut across the entire Milky Way. And so as we're entering that field that's cutting across the they call it, the Kabbalah calls it the Masonic ring. I call it the photon belt. There's a belt of infrared energy that cuts across the entire Milky Way. We're coming into that. So the energy for stars doesn't come from internally. That's why if you look down in a sunspot, the surface of the sun is at 8 million degrees, or excuse me, about 1.4 million degrees Kelvin. If you go 100 million miles out in space, it's 8 million degrees Kelvin. It's hotter further off than the surface. It's coming from ley lines down space like wires coming on. And as it gets closer and closer, it gets dense and it ignites. And so that's the glowing you see. Then as you go down and down, it's already irradiating. It's hit ignition temperature. Now it's radiating out. So as you look down on a sunspot, it's actually getting down to the point when they've looked 100 miles down, it's close to room temperature.
Wow.
Yeah. And what you see, those jets coming out of those sunspots, that's actually water vapor.
Oh my God.
If they do the analysis of the different light waves and you see the spectrum, that's water vapor. Because of the massive pressures, you can still have the electrons in orbit because of the massive pressures you've got there. It does allow the electrons to form molecules. They actually have proven already that there are actually bacteria being emitted by the sun. So because of the vast pressures, and then once they get out where they're past that solar wind and it's cool, now the pressures go down, but now it's cooler. And so, you have so much of what they're telling, but that energy coming from the central sun going into our sun as we're going into this infrared belt, that's why we have global climate change. It's not just on Earth. All the planets are changing. Mars doesn't even have ice caps anymore. Jupiter, it also has a hurricane on Mars that's the size of Texas for a decade, hasn't dispelled at all, because all the planets are getting global climate change. It has nothing to do with humanity. It has to do with where's our energy come from? The sun, which comes from its central sun, which comes from the central sun. And so it's this big grid of energy that's flowing throughout all of creation. And so that, as that goes, we come into that infrared barrier, the energy of our sun goes up and up and up. When it gets to a certain point, that it's like a resonation oscillator. When you get to a certain point to where the field collapses, it'll collapse to the core. That's what they call the event that they're calling the big event, that nothing can stop what's coming. When you get into that field, the hard part of that field, which is 3 days thick, then it collapses to the core. And it starts to resonate harder and harder till it jumps an octave, or in this case, it's going to jump 2 octaves. It's already in the process of starting to go up octaves in the core. That's why the energy is going up on Earth and all the other planets. And then it blows outwards and it wraps around each planet, causing it to lift up too. That's why.
So this is the ascension event that we're talking about. This is what's causing it.
Yes, this is it. Beautiful. And the Kabbalah has known about it, and they've been trying to hijack it to be a negative event. It's not a negative event. It's a positive event. It's a negative event on 3D, 4D, 5D negative Earth. But there's already, NASA doesn't even show it. They already have pictures from the space station. And I got pictures sent to me in an email of a couple down in India. You can see it. There's 4D, 5D Earth in orbit behind us. It's already formed. The separation has already happened between the negative and positive timelines. And that's why we're coming down to the choice. Which place do you want to be? How do you resonate? Where you resonate is where you are. If you're going to resonate negative, you stay here. If you're going to resonate positive, you go to that other. People, the couple were going, there's 2 moons. I'm going, no, that's not 2 moons. Look at one of them. It has oceans. It's blue and it continents. It's not a moon. That's the one that NASA isn't showing. You can find some of those if you surf and you know where to look. You can find pictures from the International Space Station of the 4D, 5D Earth in orbit behind us now. They already know it in the secret space programs.
That's incredible. That's amazing, Cher. I've never heard that before, but it resonates very strongly.
Yeah.
So I have memories, far out in space, around Saturn, the moons of Saturn, and I've heard other people talk about it too. A lot of us are like given, because you just basically crushed it, are given the misinformation that around the sun and a little bit further out from the sun, that's where the heat and the light is. But when you go further out, it dissipates. So my memories are that in around Saturn and some of the further out planets, it's almost the same all the way out. How do you explain
Well,
that?
that one's simple. Gravity creates a lensing effect.
Ah,
So and they've proven this. They had a pulsar, and they realized another pulsar that they were exactly identical. So identical, they were spinning the same. They had the same frequency emissions, everything. They go, wait a minute. That's one pulsar, and its energy is being lensed around a black hole in between. It's bending the light around it, which gravity does. It can bend light. So as the energy goes out when it hits the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, all of those asteroids lens the gravity back down. I mean, lens the light with the gravity of all those little particles, lens it back into a refined beam. So it actually, the next planet from the asteroid belt is that distance from the sun, from the asteroid belt. So it's still, as you go out, it's still having the same heat as if it was the distance it is from the asteroid belt. It was as if it's that distance from the sun because of the lensing factor of the asteroid belt. Then again, when you get out past to the Oort cloud, and the first one is the Kuiper belt. Kuiper belt does the same thing again. It lenses it all in. So if you look at Neptune, for example, there's the Kuiper belt's in that area. So if you look at Neptune, this is another light that they say that's a frozen thing. Look at it and look close and bring the picture up. And you can see algae migration.
Yeah,
it's a giant ocean world. And you can see algae migrating in the spring. I'm like, why is there a green stripe that's moving? I mean, really, and it's all blue.
Yeah.
It's blue. It's not like ice is not like blue, blue, blue like the ocean. It's white and mostly frozen white. Even when seawater freezes cold enough, it's white or clear. And so you're looking, and then again, once you get out past the Oort cloud, again, that focuses the light down. So you have planets in far out orbits from the sun that are actually still very warm.
Incredible. That's my memories. Thank you. Wow, you're like crushing it. Oh my God.
Lots of study.
They're gonna be talking about this for months. So another thing that a lot of people talk about is a flat Earth. So there's a lot. So I always be like, that's stupid, It's like I can see the curve, but when I listen to people and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, I don't know now. And so I've seen some stuff on like flat Earth with like basically a dome construction. It seems to resonate a little bit with me. What's your feeling on that?
Again, this is what I say on Spiritually Raw. All of the above is the answer.
Yeah.
So your second density, for you, the world is flat, literally.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If I've talked to flat earthers and tried to show them diagrams. I draw a circle and I draw a tangential line and a perpendicular line and show them the difference and explain the formula they're using for the curvature. They're saying if it was curved, you'd see this building, but why don't you see it if it's this tall? I go, you're using a tangential line dropped from your feet, which is not your aspect. First of all, you're higher up. So even 6 feet makes a difference, or 5 feet. So if we draw a tangential line from there and drop it down, that's to the surface. But the building's on a sphere that's curving away from you. So it's getting further and further away. You're using the wrong formula. You're not dropping to the base of the building. You're dropping to the top of the building because it's curved. It's even further away. So you have to take a geometry that takes it, or trigonometry that takes in the height of the building and how far it is on the curvature of the earth away from you, from the tangential line of your eye. And so there's a lot of trig that they're not understanding. But for second density, I would draw a tangential line. They draw a perpendicular line. I go, that's perpendicular. They go, no, it's the same what you. I go, no, it's not the same. I was like, wait a minute. And then I realized, once they cannot imagine in their mind a ball, they see a flat circle. Because they are actually second density still. So they haven't actually, to go from second density to third density means that you realize you're an individual and you behave and act by an individual because you know you're an individual, and you've made at least subconsciously a choice to either serve creator or to serve yourself, serve others or serve yourself. So in that of being absolutely an individual, how many people do you know who don't, honor what other people think, but they are not, what would my friends say if I say this? No. If they're your friends, then they're your friends. And if you think different and have different beliefs, they're still your friends. It's not like I'm not going to tell the truth and I'm not going to do this. You're not an individual yet. So you're still actually still not 3D. At third density, you're know who you are and you're an individual and you behave and act as an individual. To go to fourth density, it means now you've made a conscious choice to serve self or serve others. And so each step has various things that happen that have to do that. And so second density, the earth is flat. Third density, the earth's a sphere. But it's also part of preying on that and creating that psyop by Marshal Aquino, or Colonel Aquino of the U.S. Army, was to be able to make Lucifer look massive. If he's on a little flat planet and that's all there is, and there's pinpoints of light and the only sentient creation is us, that's it. That's all of God's creation, and Lucifer's all over the earth. That makes him look nearly as big as God. But if you realize that creation is infinite, and there's infinite life out there, infinite sentient species, and an infinite creation, and Lucifer's on Earth. Like 100 billion stars in the Milky Way alone, 100 million trillion galaxies. Like he looks like a sandbox bully when you were in kindergarten. Some little guy kicking dirt in your face when you were a little kid. I mean, now you get out and there's this infinite creation with infinite beings, and you go, oh yeah, you're really big and scary now. You just have this one little planet or one little galaxy even. And that's it. And 95% of all non-terrestrials are in service and no creator. They don't believe, they know. And they're in absolute service and they absolutely know. And so it makes the dark side, again, which is only 5%, it's actually slightly under 5%, look pathetically small. And yeah, it looks, and it reminds me of Gandhi that, he said that at times when you're, there have always been dictators and rulers and evil. And for a time they can seem undominable and they can seem to have absolute power, but in the end they always fall. Think of it, always.
Yep.
And so
truth always wins out. Truth and love and connection to source.
Yep. Truth always wins out, because what the cabal thinks, because they have literally separated themselves from creator. They think by controlling the inputs to the human mind, you control the spirit, mind, body, and soul, because they don't have a soul. They have given that away for power. So by doing that, they don't understand that, like you were saying, through your heart and through your gut, you can get and through your pineal, you can get a direct connection to creator, which means you can control the mind all you want. You don't control the soul. You don't control the spirit of the person. They can get information out of nowhere as far as the cabal knows. It just, how are all these people waking up? Where's all this information coming? Where are all these people, these other beings are showing up in the dumb? They can't even be destroyed. I mean, how are these soldiers down there and we shoot them and nothing happens? Because you got people down there who are asleep at home. And there's souls down there fighting battles. And they're going, what the heck is going on? Wow. Because it's the Great Awakening.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, and that's kind of what I felt too, Gene, that it was a more of a, where your consciousness lies, which one of those realities is yours. And like you just said, whatever reality you're attached to, that's what it is for you. And so as we start to, go higher in these levels of consciousness, then more and greater realities are revealed to us. So that's really beautiful. So anything else you want to share before we sign off?
No, I think we hit the highlights for today.
That was absolutely amazing. I mean, you crushed some stuff that, I think a lot of people haven't even approached yet. So
I'll give you one last tidbit.
Oh, please. Yeah, thank you.
We're not in a solar system that has one sun. We're in a solar system that has like the Mintaka, where the ADs come from, the NAAs of the ADs, the Dracos. It's a trinary. We're a trinary star system. We have Nemesis, which has 7 planets. The outer 3 are Helion, Argota, and Nibiru, which are where the Anunnaki come from. And then we have that's a brown dwarf, Nemesis. Then there's a blue dwarf. Nemesis orbits at one. You can do this real simple, is figure out its orbit. The Earth rotates on its axis because of that planet coming in. It caught the gravitational push causes our planet to rotate on its axis. And it is why the Earth rotates 1 degree every 72 years. So if you just multiply 72 times 360, you get the time of what they call the precession of the equinox, or the orbit of Nemesis and Nibiru, which is 25,920 years. It comes through, and it passed out of our system. It was seen passing out of our system in the northern hemisphere the end of 2019. So it won't be back for a long time, Planet X. And it was seen coming in 2 years before that. It comes in at an 86-degree angle, goes in behind the sun, and comes back out and leaves. The other one is a blue giant that orbits. Its outermost only has 1 planet, which is called Maitreya. It's called Clarion. It's a blue dwarf. It orbits at a 500,000 interval, 500,000 years. It only comes through once every 500,000 years, the outer planet. The sun doesn't come in, but its outer planet, it goes at an 86-degree angle to our ecliptic of our solar system at above 86 degrees. Nemesis never comes up from below. So we're in a trinary system. So that's a little tidbit for some other people to research. A lot of people are saying, yeah, we're in a binary system, but it's actually trinary.
That's beautiful. And I like that, because it just expanded me too. So I have some research to do. I love that. And that's a beautiful thing to leave with us. So Gene, Decode, always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much for sharing information, helping to raise the consciousness of humanity, to keep people sane during this crazy time. I think over the next couple months or so, it's going to be still pretty crazy. Even though hopefully around the 5th or so of March, we'll see 4th or 5th, we'll see something start to move in a more positive way. But it's like, we know it's a war, it's a battle. We're here to win. It doesn't matter goalpost, human consciousness. Who wants to be positive about this? Who wants to be negative about this? We're here to win. So that's what we do going forward.
Absolutely. And then if you give me a minute, I'll show you a picture I took, because I'm at 5D and 3D and 4D simultaneously. I can share a picture my wife took when we climbed up to the top of a volcano in Bali, in which both suns are up. We had a double sunrise.
All righty, there you go. Beautiful.
So here is the 3D sun. The 5D sun, and here's the 3D sun. So you can see their shadows are long because they're looking out at this guy coming up, 3D sun. We already had sunrise. This is our sun, 4D, 5D. So just a little tidbit there for you. That was just taken by my wife's iPhone.
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. And thanks to your wife for capturing that for us. It's beautiful. So yeah, again, it gives people some more stuff to think about and to reflect on. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I'm so happy to be here at this time frame. I think a lot of people are starting to feel that way. It's a beautiful awakening that's happening right now.
It is. It's incredible. We're definitely in the right time to be alive, because we get to watch the fall of the cabal.
Oh, yes, it's beautiful. All right, Gene, and thank you very much. And thank you to everyone watching. We had a nice big group out there. great chat, and a lot of people are going to watch this, Gene. A lot of people. So thank you very much for sharing.